So before we get into the race, let's take a quick look at the grid ahead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's no surprise that Lewis Hamilton is on pole position here today. This track favours any Mercedes-powered car, and Lewis Hamilton being the best of those on the day. Kimi Raikkonen, ahead of his teammate, starts in P2. Felipe Massa and Lance Stroll both start on the second row in the Williams Mercedes car. A great qualifying from them sees them starting on the front row, their highest ever qualifying position this season. P5 sees Max Verstappen alongside Sebastian Vettel in the other Ferrari. Sebastian wasn't really pleased with his qualifying, starting P6. He has a lot of work to do ahead of the race here today. P7 lines up Daniel Ricciardo alongside Esteban Ocon in the Force India with his teammate Perez in P9. Daniel Kvyat starts P10, Hülkenberg a long way off the pace, in fact, starting lower than his teammate Palmer, who starts in P11. Carlos Sainz starts in P12. Kevin Magnussen, the first Haas, out-qualifying his teammate in a very difficult qualifying session. P14 goes to Pascal Wehrlein, out-qualifying his teammate by 2 positions. Nico Hülkenberg, disappointingly, starts in P15, alongside the Sauber of Marcus Ericsson. Stoffel van Dorn and ourselves line up P17 and 18. Fernando Alonso and Valtteri Bottas, who didn't set a time in quali, rounds off the grid. So that's it for the grid. Now it's over to the race. So guys, welcome back to F1 2017 career mode. Today we are at Azerbaijan for the Baku race, and yeah, this is a little bit of a different intro because I kind of forgot to record the laptop bit. Also, I don't think we really had any upgrades, so it was a bit pointless. As I do this, I'm not too sure, I'm really not sure in fact, if we have any upgrades, because I'm way ahead of recording. I'm up to round 13 now, so it's kind of a little bit ahead, in fact a long way ahead of what these are, so we're going to have to make most of the start. It's going to be raining later on as we go to 5 red lights to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're off, and Ericsson gets a really poor start there, off the start, but then as we go down the inside into turn 1, we overtake Ericsson, we overtake Hülkenberg, possibly Sainz as well, but in fact he's got better traction around the outside. We go into the braking zone, overtake him, Magnussen and possibly Palmer, but Palmer badges us off the exit there, and that compromises me, allowing Magnussen to kind of get the better advantage over us, but he's going to be trapped behind Palmer as we go down into the braking zone, trying to squeeze out Palmer. In fact, that Renault does not want to give up at all. And next corner we'd go around the outside to give Palmer the room, of course, and we aggressively squeeze him out. He's in P11. We're all good. We can settle down from here. Which is, I think P11 pretty good as a starting point, even though we started P18, so we kind of gained like 7 positions from that. So we are in the mid part of the lap, and we're pretty much in P11, which is a very good position. And of course, in fact, we gain a free position because I'm not too sure what happened. Someone's retired, I'm not too sure who it is, but there's a yellow flag in the sector though, so I'm really not sure. Someone retired beforehand, but then what's this car going straight ahead? It's Max Verstappen. There's a car going straight ahead. Whether or not that was Verstappen is another thing, but whoever pulled off straight ahead of us has got a braking problem definitely, but I'm pretty sure it was Verstappen. But nevertheless, we are on lap 3, trying to go down the inside of Daniel Kvyat into this corner, trying to do exactly what we did to Palmer, but then we give him a little bit more room. The Toro Rosso isn't great in a straight line, so that allowed us to fend him off. But now P9 on lap 4 going on to, and we are going to get overtaken possibly by our teammate who does have DRS, as we're going to try and hold it round the outside here, and Magnussen just cuts in front of me. I had to take a wider line there because he had the racing line. But then that was we didn't really see him for like a lap, but now it's lap 5, in fact going on to lap 6 very soon. Magnussen is just ahead. We should be able to get DRS. I believe my setup is a lot better than what his is, so we should be able to get a good run down into turn 1 definitely, but of course Sainz is behind us. We dropped to P10 by the way as well, but as we open DRS, we're going to put it up into rich mix to get the maximum power from the engine, and you can see we're not really catching up because I don't really want to dive bomb my teammate. Saying that, I just end up doing it. A bit of contact was made. Gene Haas will not be very happy. In fact, the team would be furious about that. In fact, more furious if they lost a position as well to Sainz, but Lap 7 going on to, and yes, Magnussen does exactly the same thing as before, but this time not getting enough speed. So we kind of go around the outside to give him the room. He kind of badges me off track a little bit. Just a little bit too aggressive. But then we have the Mercedes of Bottas behind. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky task as we go on to lap 8. Again, trying to overtake Magnussen. Down into turn 1. We can do it. Lock up slightly. And we do exactly the same as what he did to us. Barge him out for the position. That brings us up into P9, and Ocon is pretty much a sitting duck. He is literally going really slow. I'm not too sure if he might have a problem, whether it's his setup or another thing, but we go down into turn 1. Late move down the inside though. Our first kind of like phase of braking was really bad. So I don't know how we did that. We just kind of rolled it in really. But then lap 11, we are coming into the pit lane for our pit stop. And we're going to go onto another set of tyres, and I believe these are the soft tyres. So we're going to have the advantage, and in fact Bottas is going on to the softs as well as some other cars around us. It makes sense. We need to go quite long, but we need to be fast at the same time before the rain goes, and we get held in the pit lane. And yeah, that means Bottas is now ahead of us. Which is always great, isn't it? It's always great when Bottas is ahead of you. So yeah, we're going to have to kind of catch him up. Not too sure how that's going to happen. But, you know, we'll find a way because Bottas is in P14. Our engine's, like, kind of worn a bit. But then, out of absolutely nowhere, safety car has been called. So that's great. We've got a safety car for the first time in our season. So here's what caused it. In fact, it's Palmer going side by side with the one and only Sebastian Vettel. Palmer tries to come into the pit lane. Vettel's on his outside, blocks him, and then he crashes into the barriers and retires. Obviously, that's why you're going to need a safety car. It's kind of dangerous, really, to have a car parked on the pit lane entry. But nonetheless, we're in P10. The rain has started to come down, and in fact, it only started to come down after one lap after the safety car had been out. So this is going to be a bit of a weird strategy. Are we going to come into the pit lane? And in fact, we have a little bit of an input from Jeffrey to change our strategy. But at this point, I did accept the strategy, but then it was too late to come into the pit lane. So we're going to have to go around another lap. In fact, most of these cars are going to go around another lap. So we're up into P8 because of that. And then the lap after, we do come into the pit lane. And in fact, all the cars ahead of us also come into the pit lane for another set of tyres. And in fact, these conditions are going to get a little bit worse. As we strap on the inters here, at this stage it's only inters, but we just nip behind Valtteri. Just. That was close. In fact, the release was a little bit dangerous, but you know, we'll take it. We're behind Bottas. We're a lot closer than what we were like the last time. So, lap 17, and in fact, it's just about 10 laps to go till the end of the race. And yeah, we are in P12. We've got Raikkonen behind, so I'm not too sure whether he came in the lap before. But in fact, there's just massive collisions now happening. What has happened in the castle section? I was about to commentate on how Raikkonen was like behind us. I really didn't know. But then this happened. There's a crash at the castle section entry. A massive crash that gains us like 2 positions, but then a virtual safety car. And in fact, that's kind of a stupid decision because it's blocking the castle section entrance. Full course safety car, I think, should have been applied there, but this is why it happened. Sebastian still on the slick tyres. Don't know why. I'm pretty sure Raikkonen must have come in the lap before. So I'm guessing we jumped Raikkonen, which was pretty good, in fact, for us. But Vettel goes side by side with the Toro Rosso here, and yes, there's collisions. The Renaults get caught up in it, and then as Mercedes bashes into him. So from Kvyat's point of view, he's on the inters. He was trying to go around the outside, yeah, but then he had the line. Vettel kind of was up the inside and just basically caused an incident. It was avoidable. I'll be quite honest, but nonetheless, we're in P7 after more cars make the stops. And in fact, I don't really know why, because it's just weird, because after the safety cars, or virtual safety cars, they come into the pit lane. And in fact, talking of that, there goes Magnussen into the pit lane. Why? You've been on the Inters about 2 laps. It's a bit weird. That's kind of the programming of it all. It's a bit weird. But as we go on to lap 20 now, the conditions have actually got a lot worse, and in fact we're going to need a set of wet tyres to complete the Grand Prix on, and hopefully we'll get ahead of someone behind us. I don't know who that was. Probably Alonso or Verline, I don't even know. Nonetheless, P9 possibly could get a few positions here. Verline is on the Inters, who's just passed us right now, and hopefully we can overtake him, because those Inters are really bad, to be honest, because the conditions are so bad and the Inters just can't get any grip. So as we go down into this corner, can we try and look for a move on Verline? We're very cautious with our braking, and a bit too cautious because Verline is still ahead. We just don't want to get held up. We really don't want to get held up by this guy, because if we do, man, things are going to happen and we're going to lose a load of time. But I'm just trying to find a way, if any way at all. But then I kind of find a way there, trying to cut over the curb. And now I just look down the inside of this corner, hopefully to get the move done before champions. In fact, not even champions. Castle section. Right, and we do get the move done before castle section. I just get mixed up with Canada, I'm sorry. I did Canada before. So, last lap of the GP, we go nearly into the wall there. That was a lucky save. P6 it looks like we're going to get. Ocon's nowhere near us. So yeah, I think this has turned into a great result with a safety car. Not as good as what I would want. Lifting off there just to save the engine a little bit. No need to go full throttle. P6. What a race. Again, another good result. Another good result from changeable conditions. It's so kind of easy to do, with the AI being kind of weird under safety cars. Pitting like 2 laps after being on the Inters, it's a bit weird. But you know, I'll take it, I'll take the result. But we're P6. And Magnussen gets in P8, so pretty much 12 points for us. 12 points this race. I'm glad Magnussen has actually gone up a little bit, but Verstappen, Palmer, Vettel and Kvyat were the DNFers of the race. And in fact, Ferrari, geez, no points. No points for Ferrari. That's weird. That makes the championship even more close between Hamilton and Raikkonen, because Hamilton did win, of course, closing the gap to Raikkonen at the top there, and Vettel also is suffering a kind of drawback from that. 12 points now separates the top 2, Raikkonen and Hamilton. We're in P10 in the championship, only 10 points away from Esteban Ocon in the Force India, and in the Constructors we are 6th place, and in fact the top 2 teams, 22 points. Mercedes are going to close down Ferrari if they don't get any points in the next race. They need to get points, because Ferrari are going to lose it at this point. This is where Mercedes will probably come into its own. But after that, we get 145 resource points, and also we kind of are leading the rivalry by 1 point now, after kind of completing most of those. And Ferrari have increased their standing with us quite a bit, so possibly we could look at a Ferrari seat. Probably like the first top team to offer us a seat. But then we have the pit stop efficiency, a 10% reduction in pit stop time. So from now on, the team are going to be that little bit quicker, a 10% quicker than what they were before. So hopefully we can kind of have better positions as a result of that and lose like less time in the pit stops. But now, as we go on to the end of the race weekend, we're not far from Toro Rosso, in fact, in the performance chart, but then we out-qualified them, kind of. But that's going to be it from me. I hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like if you have. Subscribe for more F1 2017 content, and I shall see you all next time.